Hello and welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Build Process Automation training videos on anubhavtrainings.com. In this video series, we are learning about SAP's Build offering for building process automation and bringing down the manual effort in your organization. In the last episode, we talked about how to extract data in a automated way through the SAP Build RPA capability. In today's session, we are going to learn how to extract data from Excel file. Excels are everywhere in our organization, including finance, HR, production planning, warehouse management. And often there is lot of manual effort to extract data from Excel file, utilizing that data to send emails and more. So in our today's session, we will learn how to use SAP Build Process Automation capability to trigger or to extract the data from Excel file. So let's get started. And now what we are going to do is we are going to proceed further and discuss the set of topics for our today's class. So let's get started. So what is going to be covered in today's session? We will begin with understanding of what is Excel SDK for automation. We will understand creating Excel link. So there are two ways you can process Excel data in build process automation through Cloud Excel link, which will automatically build the output metadata for extracting your data from Excel, or the option two, which is manual technique, where you as a consultant or developer have to understand the process of processing in Excel and write every single piece of automation step yourself. So we'll understand both of them. So we will first create an Excel link, process Excel data, create automation and extract the data. Then we will learn about manual processing where we will create the Excel activities, configure input output parameters and variables, understand how to apply filters and create Excel file by filtering data and extracting the data after filters. We will then understand how to link this automation with our business process, test our end-to-end automation, and understand our critical scenario. We will also see finally how to map this data to a form. So let's get started. So what is Excel SDK? The Excel SDK is a collection of activities which are offered by robotic process automation capability of Build, allowing us to create automation on Excel. It comes with a rich set of functionalities such as creating Excel workbook, creating sheets inside the workbook, reading and writing data to an Excel file, or providing a range, applying the filter, hiding and showing columns, adding dynamic rows and columns, computing the data, adding macros, and more. To design your automation, you need to have at least some Excel file to get started with. Then, what is Excel data mapping? The Excel data mapping comes from the first technique of processing Excel, which is called Cloud Excel technique, Cloud Link technique, where it automatically understands the columns of your Excel and creates a data type for us for the automation. The data from the Excel sheet stays the same, but the structure becomes the data type structure, making it possible to use it throughout our project. So I will be showing this technique first. So after that, we will take the next technique also with a real-time scenario, which is more complex and suitable for more complex business use cases. So let's get started. I would like you to present first of all my demo Excel, which I will be sharing as part of this study material of this training. I have kept that file in my computer C drive temp folder. So I go there, C drive temp folder, and that is where I have kept all the data. So you can see this orders.xlx file, which I have already created. Let me open and show you the content in this file. It will contain a set of sales orders, which includes order number, order amount, order date, shipping country, delivery date, status, and email. That is a very simple Excel file of list of orders in my organization. What I will do now, I will use the cloud link technique from Excel SDK in business process automation to extract this data and show all the order number and order amount to us on the screen or on the console. So let's get started. I will head over back to SAP Build Process Automation. Please note the prerequisite for this tutorial would be to set up the IRPA desktop agent in your laptop, and it should be up and running, and it should also be connected already to the SAP BTP account. We have already done that in the previous episodes. If you have not seen that, you can check out the previous episodes of this web series. Now, you can see the mode in which it is currently running is unattended mode. So while I will design the automation, and if I want to test my automation first before I deploy, I can go with the design mode, which you will see also. So let's get started. Create a new build project with a process automation and give a name called process Excel, or I would call some scenario order processing Excel. Yeah. So that is what the name I will be giving for this particular scenario. So let us go ahead and utilize that. So this will be the step number one we will be processing. So what I will do now, I will just go ahead and utilize this scenario as a name of my project. I will now provide the description over here for this processing. So order processing Excel data, and I will click on create button to create the order processing project. And then after that, I will be creating a automation in the same. So you can see it is creating it, the new build process automation project over here in the system. In just few seconds, we're going to get the default experience for the same. And I will now give my process name. So I can say uh, sales order processing. I can give description process sales data using Excel SDK. We click on create button, and you can see here the system is showing us to create a business process. So here I will now add a form trigger just for triggering this process flow if I want to test it. Yeah. Or I can just show you adding an automation. So I will just go to add an automation now, or you can also directly add an automation for testing purpose. So click on create button and we create an automation over here. So I will choose the agent version, which is 3.32 currently installed in my computer, which I will be utilizing with Excel SDK to test my Excel automation. Click on confirm button and I will say extract order data. Okay, extract order data. Click on create, and now we will create a automation to our project. I will be using the first and the easiest way of doing it, which is called cloud link technique to automate my Excel. So what I will do now, I can actually go ahead and create an input parameter where I can pass the file path from outside. But for simplicity, I will be hard coding the file path over here. So what you can see here, we have many different options here in SAP Build Automation step. So what I will be searching is Excel, and then I can see all the list of Excel related options comes at front of us. So we can correspondingly choose the correct option which we would like to use. So I will be using, as I mentioned, the cloud link technique. So search for Excel link to be very precise, and you see Excel cloud link option. You can click on this I button to look at more information. It will retrieve the cell range values for a specified worksheet. A dedicated configuration screen is available in order to map the values from the worksheet to an existing data type or a new data type. So this is the most easiest technique. And you see the SDK which it will be using is IRPA Excel SDK. So I can open the documentation and read more about this Excel Cloud Link option. But I don't want to go too much into the theoretical aspect, as it's easy to understand that this technique would be used to extract the Excel data along with the metadata information like columns. So I drag and drop it on my automation. And now you can see it will be returning all the values from my Excel file. So what I will do now, I will double click over here and add our Excel data. So it would ask you to first upload a sample Excel file, like for example, as a template, so that it can understand what are the columns you have as part of your Excel file. So let's click on add MS Excel data, or first click on browse. Directly you can browse the file from my computer. And as usual, I will be going to my C drive temp folder where I've already stored my Excel data, orders Excel data. Click on open. And now what it does, you can see it has taken that. It has already identified that I have only one sheet. If there are multiple sheets, you can see them here. So there's only one sheet. It also identified the number of columns and rows. So it already identified the range of the data. Now I will provide the path of the workbook. So what is the address where my Excel file is present in my computer? So I can go back, right click on orders.excel, go to properties, and then I go to security, and then I will copy this path from here. So now I copy that path and paste it in the workbook path. Now, what is the worksheet name? We don't need to hopefully give that. And what we can do is we can see already it has identified the data parameters. You can see it has already identified my columns. So these are my 7 columns which I have in Excel. So this is the most easiest way using SAP Build Process Automation technique to extract data from your Excel file. So my worksheet name will be sheet 1. That is the name I will add. Perfect. So we are happy with this configuration, and we can click on save this configuration. Yeah. And configuration has been now saved. So what I can do, I can right away start with testing. So to be able to test this, I would then use this return data. So what it does is it is going to return me the output data, and I can utilize this output data, yes, to loop over this data and utilize that data. So you can see returned value. Returned value is perhaps a list which gives me all the data out. So what I'm going to do now, I will be looping over record by record and printing the data on the screen in the console. Yes. So let's do that. So just like in ABAP, you first get a Excel file uploaded with GUI upload, get all the data in an internal table, loop over the internal table with work area and print all the records. Similarly, this is like an internal table where you're going to get all the data into the output. So what I will do now, I will just use a each for each record loop, drag and drop that here. And I'm going to loop over my list of returned values. And every record will have current member. So this is your internal table and this is your work area where it is going to loop the data. Then I will just come back and I'm going to add here the parameter current member. I'm going to add here. So to print this data on the screen, we will then go and add a message log. So let's add a message log just to print data on the console. And in the message, we will just say, I would be displaying the current member. Current member is the record. Yes. If you specifically know the data type, you can specify that. Yes. So that will be the log. Perfect. I can save this and we can right away test this automation to see if the data displays or not for all the records one by one. So let's go ahead and test it. So here is the play button. I click on play button and then we can just start the testing over here right now to test my execution of this automation. So you can see it's running. It's just connecting to our desktop agent on my computer. Yes. And you see now it turned into design mode. Design mode will be used while you use it for testing purpose. Yeah. And now you can see in the variables, you can see this is the variable, this is the current member, these are the variables at runtime. And what I can right now see is nothing. It has printed the data, but it has got you nothing. So where we are missing something. Yeah. So what happens? Your mode will turn into the design mode while you are testing and debugging. You can also debug everything line by line as well. So let's investigate what's wrong here. So I anticipate there are two issues. The first issue is that in the cloud link, we have forgotten to create the data type. So let's create a data type here. So what we will do is we click on plus button to create a new data type in the process project so that computer can understand the skeleton of our data. So let's name it as sales order. Yes, skeleton or data, and my sales order data type. Click on create button. It's done now. You can see it has created a data type for sales order. I can come back to automation and then I can just see this data type over there. So what I will do is I will just go to output parameter and we will be mapping to this new data type what we created. So let's also give the address of my sheet. Yes, over there. This is the data. And you can see here it says map here. Yeah. So all this data type, it is picking it up nicely. So now I have to start mapping my data type from the sheet to the data type which was created over here. So let's drag and drop the order number mapped. Then next is, so this is the data type, sales order data type, which we created. We need to also do the mapping now. So just expand the panel a little bit. And then next is amount. Then next one is order date, shipping country, delivery date, status, and email. So now I have mapped everything over here. We are ready with this data type. Click on save. Perfect. That is one step we have done. There is one more thing which we need to do is, which is mandatory, that we have to go back and put another step called open Excel instance. So come to tools and search for open Excel and you see open Excel instance. This will create an object of our Excel class behind the scene, which is responsible to communicate with our Excel in our computer. So let's drag and drop that. And once the entire processing is complete, we would like to also close it. So let's also add the close Excel instance. Yeah. So that Excel file which it will open gets closed. Yeah. That is the step. Now you can see log message is turning red. Yeah. Also here for each, we will just of course have the return data, return value, and we are now going to map the current member to print the data. Let us save that. And now we are entitled to start the testing again. So we should be getting all the data and it will be looping over each record one by one and printing it in the console for us. Remember your RPA agent is will be in the design mode. So you will actually see on the screen in the foreground what's going on. Yeah, that is very good thing because if you want to troubleshoot what's going on, we can always see that. So when I click play button, it is going to actually open the Excel file this time at front of our eyes. So we can see what computer is doing actually. So our RPA agent is there in our computer. It is contacting that Excel file at our computer location. You see it is opening now an Excel instance. In that it opens that actual file. It is now reading all the cells and printing all the data and closing the instance. And at the end, Wahala, there you go. You can see all the data is printed in the JSON format over here. Yes, it has extracted all the data from my Excel file. Now, perhaps what you can also do, you can access individual components, for example, order number and order amount. So you can come back instead of current member, you can edit and you can say dot the column name, and you can see it's showing me code completion because it very well knows the structure or the skeleton of the data. So I can put order number, concatenate with the space arrow perhaps, and I can say step 3 again dot current member dot the order amount. Perfect. So I can save the expression and save it, and I can run. So during design mode, we are testing it again. So this way we will be now able to see only the order number and order amount at the bottom. So you can also map it to an output parameter and all sort of stuff you can actually do by automating the Excel using the RPA agent ultimately in the build process automation. And there you go, you can see order number and order amount. Of course, you can write if conditions and sending emails, and a lot of that stuff is definitely possible from now on here onwards when it comes to automating Excel with intelligent robotic process automation component of SAP build process automation.